What's up, guys? Welcome to Blake's Garage. Today we are working on the S52 swap, and I gotta get this ZF transmission ready to get mated to the S52 that we got all cleaned up right here. What I gotta do is spray out and clean up this like bell housing on the inside. We are gonna replace the transmission seal that is back there. We're gonna replace the clutch fork and the clutch pivot pin that's in there. First though, I'm gonna try to get this all cleaned up so that any sort of leaks or any sort of gunk that was built up in there can be all cleaned out. Also, went ahead and put this DSSR on. This is the CAE DSSR because I am installing the CAE shifter that is in the car. It's just chilling in there right now, but the thing looks freaking amazing. The Hard Motorsport Edition one right there. This goes to that, and it has an adjustable length. Also, I have a new Guibo. Whoa! Spinning over. New Guibo that I'm gonna install as well. Jeez, we're spinning. I'm gonna fix that up, and we're gonna put new oil in this.
Shameless plug here, guys. Check out e30swap.com. We got the new Bird E30 shirts. See that CAE shifter in Bird's hand, looking absolutely sick with that S52 engine in. Love these t-shirts. We got a couple more styles as well. Some pixel art E30s, some M4 stuff, stickers, all of it. Check it out. Link down in the description.
Just put some brake cleaner in here. Usually this stuff helps just break up just disgusting. I guess this is grease and clutch material, probably asbestos and all sorts of stuff like that. So getting it wet into a liquid form on a rag is probably a good idea. Instead of like scraping it off all airborne status. Nasty. I'm gonna try to get that cleaned up as much as possible. Look at that, I can already see aluminum again. So I got it all cleaned up now, just power washed it. Got all the grease and grime off of this thing, so it's looking really good. Well, this little guy out here, go ahead and release this piece right here, which is the pivot pin. It has like a little spring. It keeps it retained, right? And there's the clutch fork. As far as wear goes on this, I don't know. It has quite a bit. This is the plastic pivot pin right here. I have a brass one that I'm gonna replace it with. I know some people say they don't like the brass. Some people say stick with the OE because the brass can prematurely wear down these pieces. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the brass one because I feel like I bought it and that's what I'm gonna use because I think it's kind of cool. They also make stainless steel ones. Slave cylinder right here. And the slave cylinder looks to be good. I want to take this piece off of here. I don't have a new one of these, so I'm going to reuse this piece here. Or maybe I do have a new one. I guess I'll double check. But here's the one from Bimmer World. This is where I got it. It's Euro parts, and it looks like this. That'll go in place of the plastic one right here. So looking kind of cool. I don't know. Looks fancier. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. Can you get some pliers or some like channel locks or something? There we go. Nice and easy with the channel lock. So I would recommend that tool to take it off. Install it. I guess we just give it a little tap with some rubber. We can kind of just take care of that. Just one of those things we don't want to have happen. So we'll take care of it now before it becomes an issue down the line. This thing is gonna slip right off of here. So a new seal looks like this. You can see it's pretty shallow and that sort of thing. I'm going to try to put a screw, but I don't want to go too awful deep. I only really want to go about the thickness of this, or else we're gonna go into, I think there's a bearing back there. I went ahead and sanded down this pin a little bit. Got it banged in there. It's nice and tight. Woo! Okay. I gotta tap that a couple more times, get this fully seated, and we'll be good to go. I can go ahead and reinstall this little seal cover. And you gotta put this little guy on here, this spring retainer clip thing. Real quick, I want to show you the old throw out bearing here. You hear that? Sounds gross. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it probably made some noise. Along with the pilot bearing. The pilot bearing was just really sticky. Here's the pivot plate here, or whatever. What is this called? Pivot fork, clutch pivot fork, right here. And there is the little brass guy. I'm gonna sand that down just a tad bit more to get it to fit a little bit tighter. Then I can throw the new throw out bearing on, and this trans will pretty much be good to go. Now, fifth gear lean, that's another issue. With the ZF transmissions, you have to change some like little springs and pins in here. So if you're having a weird time with your fifth gear, where it's making a little bit of grinding noise or kind of leaning over to the side too much when you're putting it into fifth, or you're having a hard time finding it, do that. Do the fifth gear lean. You replace this, and that one right there. I may do that. I may not do that. So I think I'm good because I have a CAE, so I'm not too worried about it. Crack that loose. You could use a flare nut wrench too on that, but if it gets too torquey, like too much torque to take that off, don't use this wrench that I did. Could this be a bad idea to put on before I put the engine in the car? Quite possibly. I could kink this line, I could dent it, and I could screw it up. That's a chance I'm willing to take because I don't really want to do this underneath the car, so I'm just gonna route it like that, which is pretty tight, and I imagine it's just kind of gonna come up something along the lines of, well, shoot, probably gonna go like that up into the car. Shoot, what are we doing? So it kind of ends up oriented like this. So I think either having it a little high like that, it's kind of gonna go like that. So I think if I just put this literally straight on the side of the transmission like this, I think it's gonna hit the correct spot. If not, I'll loosen this fitting up just a tad and correct the orientation, but I don't know. So you see that little guy right there? We're gonna replace that with this flared nut style with the AN fitting. So that's gonna screw in this way, and this way is gonna go to the hose with a little flare on it. Super cool. I definitely dig that. That's gonna be an awesome, clean little fitting. So yeah, if you're doing this with the engine out of the car, definitely easier to do with the engine out of the car. You may want to remove the brake booster. If you're not, it's gonna make it a hell of a lot easier. Or actually what might be easier is to pull it out inside the car and do this. But from this location with the engine out of the car, it should be pretty simple. I'm gonna use an 11mm flared style like this so I don't strip it. It still looks actually tough to do right now. So alright, so we can see the little nub right there. Here's the tunnel, so it'll go up like right here and then swoop right over there. Yeah, I guess we'll put it right above the steering linkage and then it 90s in. So super cool. Or no, we'll put it underneath the steering linkage. Yeah, that'd be better. Fill this up, we get clutch fluid into that cylinder down there, and we start pumping it through. So new clutch line, let's do that. Went ahead and bought some OE clutch hose. I grabbed this from Igor at CA Tunes, and then we got a new one of these little clutch hose connectors. Looks like this. Just might as well get that because I don't know if I had that, and that's the part. That is the part number for that one right there. Okay, over on the clutch, we got this little guy right here. Master cylinder. You can see my little nub is still crimped. It's got the factory crimp. We gotta clip that. Boom. Great, so that will breathe some brake fluid slash clutch fluid through the hose now. It basically goes whoop and through the firewall and into that clutch pedal. Pretend this is like the nub, right? So if you're like trying to push it on through the firewall, because it kind of goes like this, super hard to get your fingers in there, right? And very hard to like get it like this with it going through the firewall. So while the hose is extra long, try to like wrap it like this to where you're inside before you're going into the firewall. So say this is coming out of the firewall, and this is the nub. You kind of do a loop underneath by the pedals, and then you can use this extra like tight little circle to push it onto the nub so that you have more, I don't know, more bite or whatever, like a better fulcrum or something to push against. And then once you get it on the little nub, just kind of undo it and feed it through the hole, and it'll basically come out of the firewall looking like this. So I'm gonna loop that underneath my throttle cable. I'm gonna get my throttle cable out of the way. Sweet. And then just like Igor was telling me, there is more than enough to kind of go through here. So I am just going to just make it just a tad long to where it's not rubbing on stuff. And I'm gonna cut it. Could use a razor blade or something, but these seem to cut pretty good. My lineman pliers, they cut hose fairly nicely, so why not use that? And as you can see, like, look at that. I still got enough for another clutch line, so that's great. See how it is kind of tough to push on? That's why I was saying, like, underneath there, it's a little hard. So boom, there we go now. Yeah, we got that clutch feed line going down into the firewall behind the booster. It just kind of goes right down in that little hole right there, and bolt the transmission and everything to the car. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'll start the video on installing the wiring harness, because I want to get that on the engine. I'm not going to put the intake on, but like if I get everything wired up, like alternator, starter, we'll assemble the transmission, but I'm going to do all that. So at this point in the video, you would skip to, I guess I'll just skip to bolting the transmission on. But if you guys want to see the wiring harness video, that'll be another video. So I want to go ahead and remove this little backing plate, so I'll get that off real quick. So it is another day. I purchased this clutch alignment tool, and this is basically the wrong size butt plug for this, not the right size. This is the correct size one right here. This little tip is a skinny little tip, and it does not align with the throwout bearing. So that was a real pain in the ass. Now this one is going in now. As you can see, it slides in without issue. I might lube this up a little bit more. I don't know. Oh, fuck me. Yes, that feels sick. Wait for the blood to pour. There we go. The busted knuckle. Don't do that. Okay, cool. Anyways. Okay. Holy shit, that fucking took way too long. That was way too much pain in the ass. But it's on there. This is what I ended up with. Jack on the ground, engine in the air, slippity doo-dah, slippity a, why what a wonderful day. That's what I did, and now they're on there. I'm gonna torque them all down and sick. 72 and 43 Newton meters on these smaller bolts. So 72 and 43, awesome. Also guys, I got these new Milwaukee sockets. They're cool because they're anti-roll. You see they're not like circular like most, and they have this little flat spot so that when you throw them on the ground they don't roll underneath your car, and that is super cool. So I'm going to replace this Guibo 218s, a wrench on the inside, socket on the outside. Let's get these all replaced. Alright, so then the arrow always points to the flange, so we'll go ahead and put that on. Put the bolts through here. Nuts on this side. Yeah. Let's get them on here. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to torque those down, so we're good to go.